the normal days, and I'll start to think of stuff. I mean, we have some layups. I mean, we have the Shooty Awards. That's
Yeah.
easy.
Or just keep it
Um,
when it shows for the ad. No reason not.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said.
You can decide to run an ad whenever that becomes available, or wait till.
Just run the halfway mark one. Okay.
excuse me.
On.
Sweet. Should we be on the interstitial right now?
We're not.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right. Oh, well, the ad just started automatically, so we gotta wait. And they can hear me, which is so weird because I toggled off the mics. Yep, even when I toggle off again.
Can they hear me? They should be listening to "Accept the Wind," Whiskey Ginger, now available on Spotify.
Yes, they can hear you too. Just they heard that weird voice.
It's okay. They can hear the dulcet tones of Juicebox. It's been a week.
I feel like anyone who has a subscription, who for some reason the ad isn't playing for, is just hearing some very weird things right now.
They love me. Although,
They love you.
see? Juicy. Get some juicy fruit snacks, them Starbursts. You know what they used to call me in high school, Danny?
I don't know if I want to know.
Usher.
This is ridiculous. I had to put up with this for another 2.5 minutes because the ad is just running automatically. And it's weird because even when I press the toggle mic button, it still hears us. I tried it both ways. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
Tropical flavor. The blue, orange, and yellow one was my favorite one.
What are you talking about?
Talking about the Gushers. Remember the Gushers? The little fruit snacks?
Gushers were good.
Yes, they are good. I mean, I haven't had them in a while, but they're
I
good.
don't think anything from our childhood is good anymore. I feel like they changed all the recipes and stuff, and things are just worse.
Oh yeah, it's all filled with chemicals and AIDS now.
Wasn't it already filled with that stuff?
I mean, maybe, but at least it was like sugar too. This is the behind the scenes that y'all don't get normally.
So they took out the sugar, and now we're stuck with this.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, look at that bird in the Accept the Wind artwork. That's a dope bird. I wonder if they photoshopped that, if they caught that in action. That's pretty cool.
I'm gonna assume they caught that in action.
I don't know, man. Look at that sky. It's beautiful. You think they took that picture in June or like a different month of the year?
It looks pretty empty. Actually, maybe I can't really see the background too much. Is that a lot of people on the beach?
I see nobody. I bet you they didn't even take the picture either. They probably just went on like stock images.
Oh,
Typed in
so
beach.
they didn't even
Beach.
put in their own work for it. So we're turning heel on our musical. What do we
Oh,
call
by
it?
no
Musical
means.
what?
The musicians.
No, what do we call them for us? What do they call our musical?
They're
Our
sponsors. They're
sponsors.
sponsors.
Yeah,
They're
musical
official
sponsors.
band of the Sharpshooters. I love
That's what it
them.
is. Official band. I was thinking of the wrong word with musical. Official band. So we're heel on our official band.
By no means. I'm not heel on them. I love them. I'm just questioning the legitimacy of the bird. Is all. New sounds, new songs, evolution. This band has been through several changes since inception 7 years ago. 378 monthly listeners. Think about that. They have 378 people that listen to their music monthly. That's amazing. What a
You
great
can
band.
still hear us. It's weird. I toggle
Oh, I
them
know.
on and off. No,
I
I'm
know what
on
I'm
now.
doing.
I toggle them on and off, so it's okay. I'm about to go on anyway, so it is what. Oh, okay.
John Armand Peters, the composer.
This weird shit.
The Bach.
Could they hear?
Johann
you?
Sebastian
Both.
Peters. I hope they can hear me. Wasted my time.
We'll see what happens. Can I X out of this box you just pulled up?
Don't worry, folks. We'll be live shortly. We're just
Alright,
working
we're
out
about
some
to be
things.
live right now. Ready?
About to be live right now. I'm ready.
Going
AK-47.
live in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Sharpshooters. As always, we're your guests, Danny and Juice. Hope everyone's having a good week. How are you doing tonight, Juice?
I'm doing good. Daniel. It's been a long weekend.
See you doing the little dance.
I was doing my little Mina Shirakawa
I
dance.
liked it.
It's been a long weekend. I was in Boston taking care of some big business.
Ooh, hurt
But
business?
no, some big business.
Oh,
Get
sorry.
it right. It's okay. Apology accepted. Yeah, so now I'm home. I'm getting ready now for the holiday weekend coming up. So we appreciate y'all joining us here on this Tuesday evening before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Danny, in advance, and to all of our listeners at home.
Yes.
We hope you're getting your Popeyes fried turkeys, Cajun turkeys ready. They're perfect temperature to serve to your loved ones. And
Hope
yeah,
you all
now we're here to.
have a nice holiday with your loved ones. And if you don't have loved ones, hope you have a nice holiday with whoever you have holidays with.
Yes.
We're moving on
Yeah.
to
Let's talk some wrestling.
is John C.
Moving on to a really loaded week of wrestling. So anyone who hasn't been along, we're not doing trivia tonight. We're doing just PTI. We're doing a lot of the predictions just because it's a big week of wrestling. We just came off a pay-per-view. We're about to go on to a PLE, technically, if we want to be
No.
politically correct for WWE.
Nope.
No, we don't.
Nope.
Okay.
And also, it's also point of clarification for the audience. Our segment is called "Last Point Standing."
I keep saying
that is
PTI because I'm just used to it. I apologize. It's my
that is our segment here on the
It is my
Sharpshooters. Copyrighted, patent pending. Last Point Standing. So let's dive in and get to it.
All right. So, we started off with AEW, and we had from last week to this week, because we didn't have a Thursday show last week also, so we missed Dynamite. We had the pay-per-view Full Gear this past Saturday. We also had Rampage on Friday. So a lot of AEW talk that we had to catch up on. And then we had WWE with Friday and Monday leading up for Survivor Series this weekend. So let's get started with AEW. We like to put the predictions first and let everyone know how we did.
Sure, let's dive on into that first before we do it. And yeah, as always, I bit myself in the foot, shot myself in the foot. That's more like it. Shot myself in the foot a little bit. Oh, spoiler alert for later on tonight. That is the wrong tab.
Sorry.
But yeah. So shot myself in the foot a little bit, but it's like I usually do. I switched two of my picks, and it was all for nothing. Because one of them I switched, I ended up getting right, and the other one I switched, ended up getting wrong. So that's how it usually goes. I switch two matches, and I end up splitting the difference anyway. So it meant
I
nothing.
split that one match, and man, I'm so mad I did. I was very upset with that one split switch I did, but everything else I liked. And again, I was happy with the ones I was wrong on for the most part, so I wasn't too crazy, too upset about the pay-per-view. And we'll get into it more. I just wish the storytelling was better. Some of these matches could have done with a little better storytelling. I think the matches themselves would have benefited from it. But let's dive in. So these are our results from Full Gear. As you can see, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. All of us got the Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall match correct because we didn't watch it. So we all scored a point on that one. MJF, we all swept. Adam Page beat Jay White, which was a surprise to me and Juice. And, of course, Matt, being Matt, got his pick. Mercedes Moné with the clean sweep, as we knew. Private Party retained. Bobby Lashley beat Swerve Strickland, a clean sweep by us. I marked this right by accident. Whoops. I got to change that.
How
That
dare
was an
you?
accident, ladies and gentlemen. We found the accident in the week. So, Jack Perry did not win. We had a new champion in Daniel Garcia, which we all got wrong. We all thought Daniel Garcia was going to lose that because we just didn't see, the story that led up to it. So that was incorrect. Will Ospreay losing, also a big surprise to all of us. John Moxley retaining was not a surprise. We also chose that. Energy retaining. Buddy Matthews winning the four-way match. And Konosuke Takeshita retaining his international title. So I will have to update these standings or our overall standings later on. No big deal about that.
And I want to point out before we move on to the points, for the record, the TNT title match and the Ospreay match, I was not surprised with the results. We said on the show that we were pretty 50-50 on that. So I think there's a difference between being legit surprised and 50-50. I was not surprised either one went the other way.
When I mean surprised, I mean the way we all chose it. It was a clean sweep of us not getting it right. So I just meant surprised as in we all got it wrong. Wow. But yeah, that is how this week went. Let me get the LPS.
Wow.
So last point standing back on, and let's start with our fatal four-way.
Yeah, so opening with the four-way tag, a little surprised. I mean, with a show that was all singles matches, bit of a head scratcher to throw this one right at the beginning. I don't get why you wouldn't throw this a little bit in the middle to kind of help with the pacing of the show, and I think it could have used it. I mean, we'll get to it a little bit later, but I think putting this match a little bit more in the middle would have benefited the show a little bit more. But my only really note with this match was the pinning spot that the Acclaim did. I didn't mind the Acclaim themselves doing it. Where I took issue was, of course, with Rick Knox counting.
Who else?
Counting, excuse me, counting the pin when the caster was like, pin me, and it's like, what? Like, it's one thing to do the bit and the referee be like, no, it's not legal, you can't do that. Even the announcers were confused. So I don't know if Knox just like made a decision or if they really planned that, but it was kind of
the announcers even said like he was wrong, and they said like if that had happened, it would have been a no decision. Like they were trying to cover it up because it was very clear that wasn't supposed to happen, and I think Knox just forgot and went to do the pin because he's a terrible referee and we hate it.
Well, yeah, and then also it almost seemed like they did the spot twice, so something must have gotten messed up. So I felt they called it back and did it again later. So I don't know, something was weird.
No, I agree with that.
But I'm very eager and excited to see where this split goes because it's coming. I mean,
I hope that now more than ever you see it.
Yeah, I just hope that Bowens and to an extent Caster come out of it okay. Caster's just really being a bit of a loser the past few weeks, and like he knows he is. He's asking for it, so he's doing it on purpose, and I can kind of appreciate it. But he's really being a jerk.
I love the way you say it. That's so funny.
I'm trying to be as nice as I can be about it because I do kind of like him, but he's not really being the best person lately.
I agree.
So that's all I got on the four-way tag. Though I'm glad Private Party retained.
I am too. I thought it was a good match. I love the way that Malachi and Brody just dominated a lot of the match. The Kings of the Black Throne. I thought that was great. I want to see. I want them to always have more, and I feel like I say it all the time, but I just love Malachi Black so much, and I want them and that whole stable to just be given something more, and hopefully one day, but probably not anytime soon.
All right, we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. All right, next up, man, Mercedes and Statlander. I don't know about you. I think this was the best women's match AEW has ever done. If anything, I'll put the caveat on it that like maybe not counting hardcore matches because I know a lot of people like the cage matches and the street fights,
100%.
but like This was awesome.
This was
And
the best women's match, one-on-one, no stipulations, just straight up 1v1 women's match I think AEW has ever had. I loved it. I thought I couldn't
yeah,
stop. I rewound because I wanted to watch again. It was great.
yeah. And I didn't know if I was being biased. I didn't want to like, 'cause big Mercedes guy here, but it was really good, and I loved it. And this was part of a string of matches that happened here, where a lot of the matches focused on like actual like body parts, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. Where like it's not on the list, but like really quick, just about like how MJF worked Strong's hand, how Paige and White worked each other's knees. Like a lot of that was going on, and I appreciate that. But it was very interesting. It was like 3-4 matches in a row. There was like body work going on. Um, I was hoping Camille was making Mercedes lose the belt. Well, yeah, I'm really curious where that's gonna go because Camille actually like stayed in the back, didn't get involved, no funny business, and Mercedes proved she was right. So I don't know if Camille's really hurt or if they're. I don't know what they're setting up for. I'm intrigued. Um, I thought they were gonna bring somebody else in to like join Mercedes' like
Mm-hmm.
enterprise thing, but I'm glad that way it went. I hope that they can keep this going now with Mercedes. She needs another feud to sink her teeth into and to not really flounder the next month because of the classic. But
I feel like
I
they'd
loved
be
it.
too quick, and not that they're similar at all. Just like this, the way it would happen, I think would be feel a little similar. It's too quick after the Tony Storm and Mariah May turn that now you're gonna have another champion and her like protege turn on her. At least like give them a little time. Plus, Camille, I don't think is ready for that next step yet. Like Camille
Well,
isn't gonna get a big run with it, so what's the point of making her turn and then just letting her fade to the background? Let her kind of be the punching bag. Mercedes kind of needs that like that other character to bounce off. So I think it'll be fine if they let that run for a while.
I agree. Let the dynamic mature and let
Mm-hmm.
Camille be a different role than a typical quiet bodyguard. Because that's the thing; she's more of a bodyguard than a protege. And also, I mean, it has been like 6 months, so in wrestling terms, it's been like 5 years. So you could do it, but I agree with you. You just shouldn't do it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
yeah, that's all. I love that match. Great stuff.
I really
So
did
next
love it.
point,
Loved it so much.
Adam Page and Jay White.
Another
Solid. I like.
banger. I loved it.
Another good match. I liked what they did. Wasn't so much of a violent like going at each other's throats kind of thing. You thought it was going to be.
Which I think was good for Paige. I think he needed a change of pace because he's been having so many of those matches lately that I think he just needed a not like blood match.
Yeah, and I'm glad Paige White won. I mean, I liked that they did that, and he kept getting it. Paige kept getting in his own way
hmm
and messing it up, and yeah, not really many notes beyond that. Just I was happy with the match and surprised. That one I was surprised with the result,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's a good
100%.
surprise. It's a good surprise to be caught off with that one. So
I agree with that
yeah.
100%. All right. Running
Next
through
up.
full gear.
Next up, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, another awesome match. I saw some people online not happy with some typical things that Ospreay does and the flippies and the overkill, but honestly, I have no notes. I thought it was a great match. I thought the right person won. I'm
Yes.
glad Callis didn't get involved. I thought he was
Yes.
going. I thought he was going to. And here's the thing too. Once White beat Page, I knew Fletcher was going to beat Osprey when I saw it was the next match. I
hmm
knew it instantly. I was like,
hmm
"Damn, they're doing it." Okay, and then Callis was doing the promo, and Callis, not the promo, the commentary booth, and he was like, "I helped Omega. I helped Osprey beat Omega. I helped Osprey beat Okada." I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna help Fletcher beat Osprey. Like, to keep it going." I was waiting for it, so they deceived there pretty well.
Yeah.
But the match itself was amazing. I've always liked Fletcher, but his stock is growing ever since he turned from me. I think he's locked in, and I think his showing in the classic could be huge. And I think like if they keep this going, he can be a huge star for them. I love it. I think it's great.
And again,
Yeah,
just to further the point, I think it was great that it was a clean win. I think that was
yeah,
really important for the match. If you don't like an Osprey match, if you don't like the Osprey style, you're not gonna like the Osprey match. But like that's a different argument entirely. But as far as an Osprey match, this is a great one. Typical, yes, but I feel like with the talent that Fletcher had going move for him, which is exactly what we want to see, and the way he did it, I think really, really worked out well. So I was really happy with it also, and I think you're right. I think it was a great, great match.
Yeah, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but we'll see how this plays into the Continental Classic now.
Yeah, I'm very shocked about that too, but yeah, you're right. We're going to get to that.
So next up now we have the TNT title match. We had Jack Perry defending against Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia finally overcoming and winning.
So can I just say something before you go?
Please do. I would prefer it.
So for the audience, I'm looking at this. I'm watching that awesome 10-minute, highlight or preview of Full Gear, and I'm going through it. I'm going through my mind. I'm like, they just haven't given me a reason. And I said the reason last week, and I said on the show that I think it makes sense because you just had the tag team belts lose. You have the elite pretty much like kind of crumbling anyway. Let Jack Perry lose, kind of reset himself, go his own way. It was all lined up with the exception of that they didn't build up Garcia in any, like, in my opinion, not in the big one way. Like, it didn't look like he was about to win the big one. It looked like this is going to be another like little stepping stone and that he would eventually win down the line. So when they pulled the trigger, I'm just staring at my TV. I'm just like, son of a bitch. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done it, and I did it. And there we go, and that's what I deserve, and that's what happens. So, but I thought the match was great. Again, I feel like if they just changed the story a tiny bit, it's not like they went completely off the rails and like, oh my god, shocker. Like, we were talking last week how we weren't sure what it was going to be. But if you just gave it a little more emphasis, if you gave it a little more TV time, maybe, if you maybe put it on like, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm missing. But, like, I feel like he was just missing something to really put a cap on his victory.
Well, I have to disagree with you on that, and also what you said earlier in regards to, again, the storytelling. I think every match on this show on the main card absolutely had storytelling behind it and a good build. I don't think the only thing I would say is that Takeshita and Ricochet, which we'll get to. Actually, we'll get to that in a minute, but I think it should have been announced sooner to make it more believable of what could have happened.
Fair.
But I don't agree with you on the storytelling part. And in terms of the Garcia Perry stuff, I mean, I agree with you at the very beginning, but in terms of Garcia's build, I mean, this build has been going on for him to win the title for ages. Not so much from Perry, but just to win the title. And I think they gave it enough time, especially with the stuff they did on Collision last week. So I think it was definitely earned. I think with the story going on right now. And also, that's the other thing. Once Cassidy did his promo earlier in the night about Garcia winning the belt and then him winning the belt, I was like, okay, Garcia's winning the belt.
Yeah.
So they kind of showed their hand there. At least I felt like to make everyone believe it happened later. But yeah, I'll gotta say, and I know I'm a hater, so I'm gonna sound biased, but honestly, man, I mean, I gave it my best shot, legit, to try and like at least get half into the character. The scapegoat thing ain't working. It's dead.
No, it's over.
I mean, it's over, man. It's so lame. Now, I don't think any of his matches, not one, stuck out as good or memorable during his reign, at all.
You know what I think hurt it, and it's not like WWE did that on purpose or Punk did that on purpose for him. It was just happened that he was trying to capitalize on the whole story. But once Punk came back and like is doing his own thing and is doing the whole WWE thing, the scapegoat thing doesn't really work. Like if Punk disappeared or if people were still upset that Punk was in AEW, you could have maybe built into the scapegoat better. But once he went to WWE, all those fans went back to WWE, all the like the hardcore CM Punk fans that would be chanting his name. So like no one's really chanting CM Punk anymore, so the whole scapegoat angle doesn't really hit if the guy you're scapegoating isn't what the fans are mad about.
There were some. There
were
some.
some.
I heard them. I heard some, I think, right before the pay-per-view started, and then like during his match. Not a lot, but I heard them. I definitely did hear them.
So funny.
Either way, we've talked about it enough. Congrats to Garcia. Perry, I hope he's off
sure.
TV for a while now. Now this next one, honestly, after the Garcia win, the rest of the show kind of took a nosedive for me. This match was very disappointing. I am almost tempted to say it was the worst match of the night.
Oh, 100%. Like not
Um, ho-
counting obviously the pre-show matches or whatever. Like main
yeah,
card,
yeah,
worst
yeah.
match of the night.
Yeah, just very disappointing. I like both of these guys. I wanted it to be good, but I think this match was honestly not intended to be on the show. I think they were
Interesting.
not going to do it or do something different. Things happened, and Tony just threw it on the show because it's so bizarre that like they gave it build, but then just didn't announce it until like so haphazardly after the fact. Um, so there's build, but still, I didn't like how it all went down, and it just led to a very lackluster ending, where I think no one expected it, and I really hope that they can sort this out in the future. But that's my only note on that.
Yeah.
Before you reply, just want to read from the chat. Jay says the thing is with Perry, he can't wrestle as a heel. As a face, he was a worker and had speed and technical acumen. As a heel, he is slow, doesn't do the same types of high flying moves, and takes a lot of time with the crowd, which makes him a pretty bland heel wrestler. It's true, and I think he was actually locking into something finally with the Garcia thing, where he was like, I used to dance too. I used to do this.
Yeah.
Like there was something there they could have done with other characters, but Mox is kind of doing it now, but better. But either way, that's my only point. So, anything you guys say about Takeshita Ricochet?
No, that was you covered everything with Keshin Ricochet. I agree with everything you said. I'd rather talk about the main event.
Okay. And then the main event, Mox and OC.
So before
I
you
mean,
talk about the full gear main event, do you have any thoughts on how Dynamite ended with OC last week?
well, not really. I mean, it was fine. I
Okay.
mean,
No, I was just curious.
yeah, yeah. No, nothing really stuck out about it. It was the right thing to do for a go home show. So that's
Yeah.
all.
No, I just again just interested to see with the tape and everything if that was an angle or something that struck you as unique or whatever. Just curious.
Yeah, no, not really.
All
But
right,
the
main event.
match itself was definitely better than their all out match. It was good. It was a good match, and it was predictable what they were going to do. I think the real story here, excuse me, burping.
Yeah.
The real story here is the
You're so excited.
aftermath. The aftermath. No,
Jesus, he's so
it's all
excited.
it's all coming out. So yeah, the aftermath was very interesting. A lot going on and going down. I don't really know how I feel or felt about it. Like I didn't like hate it, but I didn't love it. I was
I'm,
kind of just in the
I'm gonna be
middle.
honest. I didn't like it because I felt like, and I understand where they were kind of going with some of the stuff, but then, like for example, White and Page at this point, I figured that feud should be kind of over now. You've had a few matches. This felt like the final match, unless you're gonna do like another like blood type match, but like no reason for it. So I thought that was kind of done. So the fact that they're interacting again, I thought that was a little weird.
Who's they? Who's they? Sorry.
White and Page, just even like interacting, not
Oh,
interacting,
well,
but
because
even being in
Page
this.
didn't. Well, Page didn't beat him.
No,
Page still wants to beat him. So that's
I
yeah.
understand. Yeah, Christian, I understand coming in makes sense why Christian comes in. I understand why White comes in to stop Christian, but then now you have is White going to be challenging Mox? Is like are all four of these guys now or three of these guys now challenging Mox? It's going to be like some weird
Yeah,
three-way
I
where
mean,
Christian's on the outside. I don't like. I just felt like that was too much for the end of the show with this whole OC Moxley storyline. I feel like you kind of just let OC kind of sit there and bask in like the loss and stuff, and you do all this on Dynamite. I don't mind that they did all this. I just don't. I feel like it was the wrong timing.
yeah. See, I don't. Again, that's what I'm saying. I didn't hate it. Like I like that they did the stuff with the Windex or the cleaner with Orange Cassidy. I guess they're not gonna write them off because that didn't seem like a very definitive exit. But that's not our fault. That's our expectations. That's not their fault. Rather, that's our fault for expectations. But I didn't hate it. I guess it didn't feel like a normal AEW ending for pay-per-view. That's why it felt odd, I think, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But I didn't mind it. And I also liked, a lot of people didn't catch this, but I also liked that like Paige handed Cage the title shot back and everyone was like, why would Paige help him or give it to him? But if you caught it, Cage actually said to Paige, I'll give you a shot.
Yep. Yeah,
Like if
yeah,
you give it, if you give it to me, I'll give you a
he
shot.
said that.
If I,
He's like, you got first shot or whatever, and like
yeah.
you're the number one contender,
Well,
so that's why he's giving
a
it back to you.
lot of people didn't catch that. So yeah. So I like that. I was honestly, I mean, overall, I'm fine with it all. It just felt odd. And then also like, then they're running out of there, and then like
Yeah, and
the
then that was a lot too.
Darby, and then Darby comes rushing in, hitting the Jeep, and they all hijack another car, and they drive out of there, and Darby's on there. So I liked it all. It's just you're right though. That's the thing. It's a TV ending angle being done on a pay per view, and that's where the displacement is.
Yeah.
But it's not awful. But just it's them getting it. I think they want to get that chaos in motion because now with the Continental Classic coming, I'd like to think a lot of stuff's going to take a back seat like that, but we'll see. Which brings me to our
hold
last
on.
point.
Which is even more reason though why you take out Orange Cassidy and you let him go on the back burner for a while because you have enough stuff with the Continental Classic. You'll have all these new title challenges and stuff, and you can give other people more screen time and let OC go away for a while and like build up that story. That's why I thought they should have done with Darby too. Like that's why I know you're saying you're a fan of it. I'm still not fully on board with this whole main storyline. I still don't think they fully did it well to start out with, and like a lot of things are trickling down and still kind of not making sense to me. So like I don't mind Death Riders overall, but I still don't think the storyline is, for me at least personally, hitting the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, it's making sense, and I'm thankful that they finally like acknowledge like the Street Profits winning after the Death Riders pushed them. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know if did I say
That's
private
like
party.
Street
I might,
Profits.
yeah, the private party. Sorry. Oh dear God. But I think it's working. I think honestly, I think the big hiccup and the problem is that none of us knew or saw just how bad Danielson was injury wise, and that's why this feels so like pivoted and not right. But
I guess.
I think it's found its way either way.
right,
Also, Jay
yeah.
says I liked Claudio clicking all the keys at the valet to find the right one. Yeah, I like that too.
That was hilarious.
Sounds like you took a few too many shots. Yes, I did. Also, I was really glad that song came back for the night, and I hope it's back all the time. Okay,
right.
so
That's a classic.
last point. The Continental Classic. The field has been revealed. If you did not watch it on Sunday night, they did a special at like 10 o'clock at night
Yeah, that
on
was
YouTube.
such a silly time.
And well, we both did pretty well. I don't know if you look.
It wasn't. We
I don't know
weren't
if-
too bad with it. I was surprised with one or two names, and whenever you go through them, I'll let you know which ones.
Yeah. So you ended up with 5 of your 12 names on the list, and I ended up with 6 out of 12. So we both got about half the field correct. So not bad. But granted, Okada's in there, so I guess it's 4 and 5. But I digress. Yeah. So here are the fields for those of you that did not watch or did not see the Continental Classic, the Gold League. We have Juice Robinson, Brody King, Ricochet, Will Ospreay, Audio Castagnoli, and Darby Allin. And in the Blue League, we have the Beast Mortos, Shelton Benjamin, Mark Briscoe, Daniel Garcia, Kyle Fletcher, and Kazuchika Okada. So, I'll start.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of surprised that there are 4 returnees from
Yes,
last year's.
Me too.
I think that was the biggest kind of swerve and twist in it. Overall, I like the field. I'm fine with the field. I just think that probably could have done 1 or 2 less returnees. And I don't hate Garcia being in it. I think it's a weird call, but I get it.
I don't
so
like
I'm cool with
Garcia being in
that.
it. I don't.
You don't?
Just because, like,
Yeah.
you're not going to do the whole thing where he puts up his title on the line also. So
No.
eventually he's going to have to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Or not.
be a double champion.
Or not.
So you kind of put yourself in a corner because then if he loses, then like whoever beats him should be the number 1 contender, and then you got this whole like your champion.
Well-
I don't know. It's kind of strange to me. I don't like that he's in there personally. Ospreay, I was a surprise. Not that I don't like Ospreay in there. It was a surprise. I think now that I see the whole storyline going on with Cole and O'Reilly and Strong, I understand why O'Reilly's not in there. So Briscoe I get, but I would have preferred O'Reilly, I think. The other one that I'm surprised about is Claudio. I did not expect Claudio to be in there. Obviously, I was hoping for Wheeler personally. I did think a Death Rider would be in there, but I just thought it would be the one who would take maybe more losses, because Claudio really can't take too many losses either, like with
So
his storyline.
So Jay says it's the show his progression from last year's Continental Classic to this year's for Garcia. I agree. That's why I don't hate it. I mean, listen, he can take losses, and then those people can be contenders afterwards. Also, we have to remember the TNT title isn't really like a number one contenders title. I mean, there
Of
is
course.
sometimes, but
No, of
it's basically a
course.
TV title, so it's okay. I don't hate it. If I had to pick someone that's in this that I really didn't want in it, it would be Claudio
Yeah.
and Darby, because like I told you, I didn't
Darby
really want
too.
the
I don't understand why Darby's in there.
I didn't really want this Death Rider storyline in here. I mean, if it stays clean, cool. But it's just I don't think it's gonna. I think we're gonna get our first match where someone breaks the sanctity of it, and like maybe Claudio gets a deduction or some crap. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not gonna be cool.
We'll see how it plays out. And also, I think now that we know Mox isn't in it, but Darby is, I think this guarantees now you can't really do Darby versus Mox at World's End.
That's
So,
again, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why they put Darby in there. That doesn't make sense to me. Claudio wasn't one that made sense to me either. It's
So
a
the-
good field. We're gonna get a great Continental Classic. Just storyline wise, some of it doesn't make sense again.
So Jay says Claudio being in it keeps those trios titles on ice for another month. You know what though? Check me, see if I'm wrong. Somebody in chat, let me know. But I'm pretty sure Brody King was a trios champion last year during the Continental. But I could be wrong. Either way, I get your point though.
Claudio, and they usually wrestle one match a week for the Continental, so they can still have like the trios match on Collision if he does a Continental match on Wednesday or something like that. So they can still technically defend the titles.
Yeah.
As much
So
as they
for-
are now, though. So
Yeah. So for what it's worth, I think everybody in the field is fine. I do think the Gold League is more stacked. I think the
Yes.
Blue League is a little bit lighter.
they did that same thing last year, though.
They did, but you know what? I looked at last year's too before we got on here, and I thought the same thing, that it was very like whatever. But it was kind of the same thing where the Gold League had like 3 big contenders and the Gold had like 2, and that's how it is this year. The Blue has 2, and the Gold's got like, I guess you could even say 4 with Osprey, Ricochet, Claudio, and Darby. But I mean, at this point, my money's going to be on. It seems like it's going to be Osprey, Ricochet, or Okada and Fletcher. I don't think anybody else is really going to win it, but we'll see. Who knows? We could be wrong. I'm looking forward to it. I think everybody in it will be fine. No complaints here, honestly, overall.
Yeah.
I mean, nitpicks, but nothing big.
No, agreed. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't go anywhere. We have still a lot to talk about with Survivor Series coming up this weekend. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break once I find out where I put the Streams Lab. Give me 1 second.
It's over there.
Stop it. Here we go.
You see it?
Found it.
Got it? All right, cool.
Found it. Be right back, everyone. Don't go anywhere. I wonder if they can hear us. I don't know.
Yeah, if you can hear us, let me know in the chat.
Say it in the chat.
Chat.
Yeah,
Chat.
they can hear us. Yeah,
Chat.
they can hear us. They can hear us.
Well, that's fun.
Don't know why. Very strange. But now the ad's on, so anyone
but if
who
they're
somehow
subscribed.
isn't watching it can still hear us.
But if they're a subscriber, they can hear us.
No, well, I don't know if I'm a subscriber half the time, so I gotta check the description. We'll find out.
Okay. So for the sake of time, I won't bring them up on the show, but since they can probably hear us, I'll just say them here anyway. And if they want to contribute, they can. Cool.
Love it.
I had 2 notes from Dynamite that I wanted to bring up, but just for the sake of space, I didn't have room. I didn't like how MJF and Cole were like, and Kyle, more MJF and O'Reilly were like talking to Cole like Strong was being just a soldier doing this for Adam. Like that's not really what it ever was. Like,
Yeah,
Strong
wanted to kick the crap out of him.
he was leading this charge against MJF long before Cole even turned. So like
100%.
so I get what they're doing is they want to get the sympathy for Cole and for Strong and make it like Cole's to blame. but it just doesn't really line up. So I didn't really like that because Strong's not a soldier in all this. But and then my other thing, I did not like at all that they had Lashley wrestling on Dynamite.
I thought it was weird that, like, I get what they try to do, but you don't need to do a squash match for Lashley. Like, everyone knows at this point what the man can do. Save that first match for Swerve. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was very strange to me.
well, because like one, you didn't even like promote it. It was like during the show they said it. So, like now you lose that promotion of hey Lashley debuts in AEW in the ring, even if it is a handicap squash, and now you lose the pay-per-view legacy of Lashley debuts at Full Gear beating Swerve.
Yep.
So I didn't like that. I mean, and I don't like Lashley, but it's not Lashley's fault. That's a booking thing. But yeah, that's all I got. I just wanted to get those off my chest.
I 100% agree with that. I thought the same thing about that. I thought it was very strange that they did that. I don't know why they did that. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. We got 3 seconds. Nice. Here we go. All right.
A 3, a 1, a 2, a 3,
Stop making me laugh.
3.
Coming back in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our episode on to WWE Talk. Before we get started, we're going to show you our predictions for the eventful 5-match PLE. So I can just get Juice's face off the screen. So, here are predictions. Here are predictions for our Survivor Series card. We have 5 matches, 2 of them announced last night. We have the Men's War Games, where myself and Juice are picking OTC and CM Punk. Sorry, I'm just seeing something. Seeing a note. No worries. OTC and CM Punk. And, of course, Matt, our mystery third host, is picking Bloodline 2.0 to Bronson Reed.
He's so lame. Can I just get that off my chest, Matt? He's so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm calling him out. I'm calling it out. It's been like months. You had the kid. All right, get over it. Get back on the train.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
Like, you know what? Like, we need you. Let's
Where
go.
are you, Matt? What are you doing?
And he ain't even watching. Like, all he's doing is looking at our picks and picking the opposite. It's nothing new. But this is getting egregious.
This is ridiculous.
Calling you out.
Come
on the show, Matt.
Speaking of his MO, next match, Women's War Games, he does the same thing. We pick Team Liv. He picks Team Ripley. Ridiculous.
Team Bianca.
Breaking a little bit from character, he did pick Walter. I'll say that for you. With us over Damian Priest. And then going right back to his old mad antics, he picks Sheamus while we pick Braun Breaker to win the triple threat match. And he picks Shinsuke Nakamura while we pick LA Knight. So, those are our picks. We'll remind you guys at the end of the show after we go over our last point standing for WWE. Any thoughts before we start?
So I'm going to preface anything you're about to say over the next few points that due to my big business this past weekend in Boston, I was
Mercedes Renee.
Maybe cannot confirm nor deny. While I was confined to my hotel room for a series of hours, I did indeed begrudgingly watch SmackDown.
So you watched my prediction come true earlier than I said it would, though.
So now that I put that out there, you may speak.
All right. So we are not starting in the Land of the Blue. We are starting on Raw with their answer to the Women's United States title match with a Women's Intercontinental title. And in true fashion, they are starting a tournament next week. I did not see any reveals of a bracket yet. I'm sure they posted it. I just haven't seen it. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of triple threat matches or a bunch. Actually, sorry. Raw does it the other way, right? Raw would do a bunch of singles matches that will lead to a triple threat, probably title match or something of that nature. Any thoughts on the Women's Intercontinental Championship?
I mean, it's expected, so
Oh,
whatever.
100%. Yeah, we knew that was coming.
But yeah, they'll do the triple threats as well. And so I don't know if it's been confirmed on TV, but it seems pretty obvious that they're gonna culminate the US one at Saturday night's main event. And they're probably gonna culminate this one at the first Raw on Netflix.
I assume so as well.
So we probably got
That's
some
why they
time.
held off like a week in between announcements. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's
Yeah.
more overkill on title belts. So we'll see how things go.
And especially acting like, you were putting women on TV when you had 3 hours. So now you're going to act like you're going to put women on TV when you have 2 hours. Bull.
I'm not worried about that because they're going to Netflix and SmackDown's going to 3 hours on USA anyway. So they're going to be back to 3 hours soon anyway.
That's right. All right. What I going to SmackDown now since you watched it, I do want to give a little shout out to Chelsea Green. Nice win on SmackDown. Granted, Bianca got taken away, but I do want to point out that Chelsea technically had a clean win, didn't have to use outside interference, didn't use any foreign objects or anything, and that was pretty cool. So I'm glad Chelsea got a win and advances in the tournament.
Well, you don't know if Chelsea was behind the attack on Jade, so you can't say that.
Ooh, that's fair, but again, I'm talking about the match. It was a clean victory.
Yeah, but was it because the attack made Bianca leave?
Yeah, but
It's cheating.
Is it?
I mean, yeah, it got her out of the
cheating?
equation.
She
I think
chose
so.
to leave.
Oh yeah, well,
She
for
could have
sure.
tried.
Bianca.
She could have finished the match and then
Oh yeah,
turn
Bianca's
around.
Bianca's definitely a dumb babyface. She's an idiot. She's dumb. But I don't know if you saw this. I mean, apparently the real reason it looks like Jade actually has a legit neck injury.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it when we get to the War Games one. But yeah, for sure that was a legit one.
Oh.
So that's gonna be interesting. I just wanted to give Chelsea her own spotlight on that one.
No,
All right.
no shout out, no shout out.
No shot. That's rude. Going on, I want to give a little. I want to see your opinion on the mid card titles. So we went into Monday saying how weird it's going to be a 3-card pay per view, and then we said obviously they're going to add some matches. And I threw out an idea of one match that they could add, but it wouldn't make sense because there was no build up. And the other match I didn't think about because there's been no build up, and both of those are the mid card titles. So in SmackDown, 2 weeks in a row, we have Shinsuke Nakamura attacking LA Knight, not saying anything, no interaction besides that. LA Knight really hasn't said anything, and that equates to a title match at Survivor Series between the two of them. I'm sure there will be some interaction this Friday, but I don't think that's enough to warrant a title match on technically one of your big 4 pay-per-views, even though you don't treat it like that anymore.
I agree with you. It's too soon, but I'm here to tell you this evening that you are wrong. There have been words shared. Shinsuke Nakamura did have a whole promo that he did, like he did with Cody and all them, where he talked all this trash to LA Knight earlier in the night.
Bro, I'm telling you, I got to find a different site because I'm telling you, a lot of these promos that are happening off commercial breaks or into commercial breaks, they're getting cut off, and I'm not seeing them, and it's very frustrating.
You're doing a disservice to our viewers, Danny.
I am. I'm doing a disservice
it's not
to myself
good
because I like Shinsuke. So that's
and to me, this is valuable intel that I need to know too. I don't want to look like an idiot on the show, but that's what's most important here. Me.
You're right.
So but Shinsuke did cut a promo, like the pre-tape ones with the little subtitles on the bottom of them. So definitely check it out. Okay. So there were some words involved in the story.
You know what? Let's do the match then, if you make sense. And then on Raw, we had just coming off his little feud with Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, and then Sheamus got a title shot last week after getting a number 1 contenders win. So there's really no storyline going into that title match, but he got a number 1 contenders win, so fine. Ludwig Kaiser interferes last week because Walter told him how he doesn't live up to his potential. Interfered in the title match, so that granted him a title match last night, apparently, because he interfered in last week's title match, so he gets a title match. Sheamus interferes in this title match, which grants all 3 of them to get a match at Survivor Series. Just so you know the storyline for the Intercontinental title match.
Yeah, it sounds like booty cheeks. I can't.
Big booty cheeks.
Yeah, I can't.
So
can't
the
really
mid card
speak to
titles
that.
are getting very disrespected. No surprise, but like no storyline at all. No storytelling for them.
Whatever.
It's just very annoying. And just want to point that out. Really, what else do we gotta
Alright.
say? Just wanted to let you also know how those title matches came to fruition for the pay per view. Perfect timing. Next up. So yes, big news. Jade Cargill apparently legitimately injured and is out for undetermined amount of time. Sorry, I went to say indeterminate.
They're saying minimum 3 months.
Crazy. So what are they doing with the tag team titles now? We're gonna figure that
Nothing.
out. We'll
Absolutely
see what they
nothing.
do because remember what they did last time, so we'll see what they do this time. And
They're
then
gonna do nothing.
she's out of War Games, obviously. She's out of the United States Women's Title Tournament. So big changes for SmackDown with this injury. And now they're doing an angle where someone took her out. I don't believe it was Nia Jax. I do believe with that interaction that she was like legit. I wanted to take her out, so why would I be the one to do it? Yada yada yada. I'm curious who you think storyline wise who they're trying to pin it on. I think
you're
it's
a fool.
obvious, but I don't like
Yeah,
it.
it is obvious, Danny, and you're a fool. First off, for actually trusting a heel when they say that they didn't do it. But the obvious answer here is Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill took out Jade Cargill.
Yes, she clearly did not get hurt because she doesn't wrestle enough to even get hurt, and she was clearly scared straight to even potentially think about wrestling in War Games. So she went to a loading dock, jumped off, positioned herself in the most absurd asinine position, like freaking Wile E. Coyote going
Bro,
through.
but they always do that with those backstage ones. You know that. Anytime someone's been thrown off something, you remember when Kurt Angle got thrown off like the big thing by Big Show?
I
He
know,
landed in
man,
like
I
the
know.
same like position and shit. They always do that. It's hilarious.
No, man, no. Big Show chokeslammed him off that. That's different. This is Jade putting herself in this position. So she's clearly scared. Clearly, Jade did this herself. I don't think Bailey did it. I don't think anybody.
I do think it was Bailey. I do.
No, it was Jade. Come on.
Interesting. If
Watch,
it
you'll
isn't
see.
Jade, who's your backup culprit?
There's no backup. I
There's
legit
no
think it was Jade. I legit think it was Jade. Eric Rowan did it.
All right.
And the
Eric Rowan
spider.
would be hilarious. I do think it might be Bailey. That might make sense. It depends how War Games goes this weekend.
Jade did
Because
it.
she's just getting tired of being accused over and over and over again. But Charlotte would be hilarious. If Charlotte was the one, that would be hilarious. Just out of nowhere, Charlotte's like, I'm tired of Jade Cargill. Just try to kill her by throwing her off her loading dock.
It was Jade.
It was Jade. That's what Juice is going with, folks. It was Jade. So Bailey has officially taken her place at War Games last night on Raw by helping Bianca beat Nia and to get the advantage, which you know means that Bloodline 2.0 will get the advantage on SmackDown. But we'll talk about that in a second. First,
That match is a mess.
we need to talk about the New Day. Speaking of potentially a mess. I don't know if you saw Raw or anything from the New Day highlights of Raw, but New Day pretty much lost in embarrassing fashion to Otis and Tozawa. I don't know why they keep calling themselves Alpha Academy, by the way. I would really just change the tag team name. It's very
It's just like when Chad Gable kept calling himself Shorty G,
Yeah,
or
like-
when Dewdrop kept calling herself, Piper Niven kept calling herself Dewdrop. Like,
Just-
you only got called those names because you were being bullied by a heel, and then when you were freed from them, you still own the name. Terrible. I
So weird.
digress. Continue.
So, they lost to them. They argued the whole way back. Backstage segment was just a insult fest, or hard hitting shots that people always say. You've never won a singles title, Xavier. Xavier says Kofi that you lost in 6 seconds to Brock. All this stuff going back and forth, and they end off with like, "Great, I'll see you next week." So this is obviously leading up to Big E coming back next week in some fashion to at least talk to them. But are you still sticking with Kofi turning heel?
I never said any of them were turning
Didn't-
heel.
Didn't you say Kofi was going to turn heel with him? You said they weren't breaking up.
Yeah, they were not breaking up. No one's turning heel.
So Xavier's going to turn face magically?
No, they're gonna be fine. This Big E's going to come back. He's going to rally them up, give them the big speech, and they're going to reunite, and all's going to be good. This was all just a big tease, and they're going to be okay.
One of them has to change right now. You have a
No.
heel and a babyface as a tag team. Xavier is doing clear heel tactics. Kofi is doing clear babyface tactics.
Oh, well, then in that case, Woods
reunite. One of them has to change.
Well, in that case, then Woods is going to turn baby, but he's not even heel right now. They're teasing you. Yes, they're not splitting. They're not turning heel. And put it this way. I can't even give you a declaration. I want to give you a declaration.
Give me the declaration, Juice.
No, I can't even give you an ultimatum. It's so stupid. They're not going to do it. They're not splitting the New Day. They're not turning the New Day heel. Big E's going to come out. He's going to rally them, and they're going to hug, and all's going to be good. And they're going to dance with their hips and throw their pancakes and blow their trombones.
So
and
all these weeks of Xavier doing heel work, and all these weeks. Wait. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I understand, because depending on how you answer this, I will agree or disagree. Is Big E coming back full time, or is Big E coming back for a one night only to help them get their groove back?
I'd hope full time, but even if it is a one-off or a one-night
No, that's where I disagree with you. Only if it's full time does that make sense. If Big E is coming back for one night and then not coming back again, this whole buildup of Xavier Woods going heel just for Big E to say something one night and then magically not going to have all these heel tendencies does not make sense. I would be even more upset if they did that, because that's stupider than to either turn them heel or breaking them up. That's crazy. If Big E comes back 100%, that makes complete sense. Then Xavier Woods is back to normal, even though one of the things that Kofi said to Xavier was, there's a reason me and Big E never let you be in charge. So I don't know. Again, you have to watch this, because I really do not believe that this is going to be as easy as you think it is, brother.
I saw the 3.5-minute video. I watched it this morning.
Then I don't understand how you think it's that Xavier's not going to still be a heel next week.
Everything is going to be fine. Just wait. New Day is going to be fine.
We will see next week when my co-host is wrong. And our last point, speaking of co-hosts not being wrong, this guy told you last week what was going to happen. Granted, a week early. I don't like how they did it. Again, I still don't like this entire storyline, so it really doesn't matter. But the Wise Man did come back on Friday. The Wise Man, in a very unnecessarily long promo where he had to really say 5 versus 5, like really elongate all these words. It was a little annoying. I don't know about you. I wasn't a big fan of the promo. But introducing CM Punk. Big brawl hits. CM Punk and Roman have a little moment at the end where they stare down. There apparently will be a sit down this Friday where they will hash out any issues they have. I don't understand it. But CM Punk is now the 5th member. CM Punk and OTC Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0 and Bronson Reed. How do you feel?
Well, my first thing is, I don't know what you think you saw on Friday night, but that was not the Wise Man to the tribal chief. That, I don't know why you're laughing. That was actually the future Wise Man to Solo Sikoa, because he is absolutely turning and going with the new bloodline. If not at War Games, very soon.
Interesting.
I mean, he was literally wearing like the pocket square and the outfit like Solo wore when he first was like doing his thing, and
so I saw that, but
clearly blocked Roman's numbers. So right now he's doing this just for Punk, like to get Punk in there. I think something's at play here, but. Yeah, he's going with Solo eventually. I don't think it's happening at War Games, but
so I saw that, and I am back and forth on how I feel about that for 2 reasons. One, they're all wearing black and red. So, like, the black and red color scheme itself isn't like to one
No,
group or the other. Literally, the old Bloodline
no.
shirts are all black and red also. What do you mean no? What?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm agreeing with
Yeah.
you. No,
Oh,
it's not. It's not. It's not about the color. It's about
gotcha.
what he's wearing. He's never worn that.
He's
Like,
worn a suit. This is the first time he's worn it without the tie.
yeah,
And
that's
I
very
think that
important. Like,
signifies
WWE.
the new OTC bloodline more than it signifies because
Oh,
why would
Danny.
he get kicked out of the old bloodline in the fashion he did just to come back and serve them? And also, also going more on your logic, if they're doing that, why wouldn't you do that at Survivor Series? What's the point of building it up just to do it later? Like, this is where you would do it at War Games, where you get to just finish the bloodline, the old bloodline before they start. So
They could,
by
and
your
we could
own
be wrong.
logic, you don't believe that because you chose OTC and Punk.
Well, as you know, Danny, in the history of the Sharpshooters podcast, when we make our picks here on the show, they are not final until the show starts.
100%.
So nothing is set in stone, and I'm 50-50 on both War Games
I didn't
matches.
hear you say that before, so that's why I was
Well, you
curious.
didn't give me a moment, so now we have the moment.
Let's call you out.
Yeah. Paul Heyman with a worse spray tan than Adam Cole. No,
Yes,
Adam Cole's is worse.
100%. That's pretty terrible.
No.
Terrible.
Cole's is worse. At least
Gross.
Heyman can do his whole body. Cole forgets like body parts every week now.
That's fair too.
Um,
Also, wait,
yeah.
sorry. The other reason I didn't say the second reason. The other reason I don't understand why. Oh, I kind of did. Is in the fashion they took out Paul Heyman. Why would he want to join them? Like, why would he not want to go back with Roman Reigns? It's not like Roman Reigns betrayed him or kicked him to the side or anything. Roman Reigns
I mean,
lost and got kicked out.
he was always with Roman anyway because he was more about the title. He was holding the title. He was there for the belt. He was like afraid of Roman more than half the time. So why would it be so far-fetched for him to go to the new young up-and-comer and latch onto him and take him to the promised land now? I mean, he did it with Brock. He did it with, not young and up-and-comer, but he did it with Punk. Like, that's what he does. He latches on to the next thing to move up. And Heyman kicked him to the curb and did all that stuff. So I can see it. It's not that far-fetched.
But
I mean, would I like
and then
it?
Harley brings up a good point, which I also was going to bring up, but they beat me to it. It was they did break Heyman's phone, so I don't think Heyman blocked the number. Heyman's phone was broken.
When did they break his phone?
They broke his phone on SmackDown. They smashed it.
When? Give me a day, a time,
I don't
a
know if
month.
you want, whenever before they kicked him out. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm not watching,
I'm saying
dude.
I
I'm
don't know
trying
the
to ask
exact-
you.
I don't know the exact date, but like right before they put him through the table, maybe like a week or two before that, or maybe that night. I really don't know. It was in that time.
So you mean to tell me
they
Paul
smashed
Heyman?
Heyman's phone?
You mean to tell me Paul Heyman can't get a new phone in 3-4 months?
You're
I mean,
right.
come on.
You're right. Wrestling storyline that would never happen, where he doesn't get a new phone and his phone is blocked because his old phone got broken. Come on, man. Like, but
You mean, come on?
You're acting like it's completely crazy that
It is.
No, it's not. This is the WWE storyline. You're saying that it doesn't make sense that Paul Heyman wouldn't have the same number and he wouldn't get a new phone. That's how they would do it. They smash the phone. Paul Heyman's been mysteriously gone. No one can get in contact with Paul Heyman until Roman Reigns was at his lowest and really needs him back. If anything, if Paul joins Bloodline 2.0, that's a terrible decision. What's less terrible would be him going back with Roman. That would be a less terrible decision than him going with 2.0. What's better than all that? Just leave him with fucking CM Punk. Just let him and Punk have like one last ride into the fucking sunset and let them go off together. I'd rather than just see them together. I don't need them with either bloodline. I want both bloodline stories gone. Speaking of which, this is what you've hopefully been waiting for, even though you probably forgot. I have a great way to fix the Bloodline storyline. It came to me when I was talking to my friend the other day. Very simple. I've been saying for a while, Kevin Owens is right about everything. And it's been very annoying how everyone turns on Kevin Owens. So what I think should just happen is Kevin Owens should bait Cody Rhodes to the ring, bait CM Punk out of the ring, and Kevin Owens should do what AEW couldn't do and blow up the goddamn ring with both bloodlines in it and Cody Rhodes in it and get rid of all this storyline because the hell with the bloodline. I'm only putting Cody in there because he's currently feuding with Cody, not because I actually hate Cody. So this way, now both bloodlines are gone. I don't have to worry about any more Samoans ruining my nightly TV, and maybe WWE can go in a new direction, and Kevin Owens can finally be at peace with himself and move on and be a calmer, better person in the future.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about the genocide of Samoans?
No. Just the wrestling Samoans.
You
In
want to blow up
WWE.
all the Samoans in the ring, man.
Not all of Samoa. Just the. Sorry, hold on. Just
that's mass homicide, my friend.
Just the 7 plus the 1 Samoa involved with Sami Zayn. That's all the ones.
This is mass murder, my guy. I mean, at least wait for Netflix to do that.
Nah, that's how you say goodbye to live TV, and you're only going to Netflix.
Well, that's why we're here on Twitch and not running the WWE creative.
Agreed.
I guess. Yikes.
I think that's better. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving with your families, and everyone has a wonderful week. We will see you guys next Tuesday. Next week, we will be back to our regularly scheduled program with 2 episodes on Tuesday and on Thursday. They're going to need a bigger limo. I hate you, Keverlast. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Harley. Any last words, Juice?
Hug a Samoan and tell them you love them, and not let them know about Danny's plans for SmackDown.
It's actually for Survivor Series.
Well, stands. I mean, that's internet. He's happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a great week. See you guys next week. Same time, same place. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
No, that didn't work for you. I thought it was a good idea.
What didn't work?
The blow up.
It did.
Probably. Not like you made a difference. But I ran the ad, so no one should be able to hear us.
Besides our 3 subs.
Yeah, I gotta. My sub definitely expired. I gotta check it. Cool.
Yeah, word. So I'll try and map out December, see what we can do. Obviously, like I said, we have the shooties. I can do the Juicy 50 again with the top 50 wrestlers of the year. And then from there, we can figure out what else we can do.
Okay.
Those like other week or two, because it may only be another week or two. Because with Christmas and New Year's, I'm not sure how we'll do it yet, but we'll see.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Word.
Peace.
All right, later.
Happy Thanksgiving, bro.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Peace out.
Just another reminder when going to add to click the last point stand-in. Danny, jeez.